Welcome, everyone. I am Robin from Western Massachusetts. It is Sunday, June 26th, 2022. I can't believe how fast June has flown by. And it is a hot day here in the Berkshire Mountains. And this is the Morgellons Call of the Week. So, welcome. And we are so blessed and lucky to have Richard Kuhns here with us, the author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites. He has completed 11 editions of his book because he never stops researching, he never stops learning, and we, as his research team, bring things to his attention also to help him learn more. And I don't know anyone else or any organization that is as dedicated to learning about this stuff than Richard. And I consider him the most knowledgeable expert in the world on Morgellons. I really do. And I'm honored to be here and to be the co-host of the program and to be a coach and help people get their life back. And it's because of Richard. So at this point, I'd like to welcome Richard Kuhns, expert and author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. Glad to be here every week. Before we get, well, unfortunately, we have a little change of venue today. We had a guest speaker all lined up and working with her all week. And she was all excited about sharing how she got her life back. And the last minute, we found out that a friend of hers has some kind of emergency, and she had to rush over to her friend's place. So we will reschedule Jan for next week. Okay, assuming she's available next week. The FDA requires me, because we're going to get technical, we're going to go into the Q&A, the technical stuff. The FDA and AMA, they have the guidelines and the federal regulations. And before you start my diet, the King diet, or accept any of our recommendations, you discuss them thoroughly with your doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're presently experiencing. Because none of us are trained physicians, have gone through the training, and we are not in a position to diagnose you, cure you, treat you, or mitigate any disease. What we are allowed to do is to educate you how to use the King diet for your advantage, how to clean the organisms out of your skin, how to clean them out of your environment, and how to build health and immune functioning utilizing targeted supplements. For those of you who are new to the program today, before I just jump in and taking some questions at random, this, as Robin stated in the beginning statement before the recording started, is based on my book, How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, chronic Lyme, and other skin parasites. And if it were not for the King diet, there would be no book, because the King diet is what makes this work. And I know that sounds silly and ridiculous, and at first when somebody suggested it to me, I thought it was ridiculous, but you know, I had tried everything by then. I had been through the grocery store. Yeah, I couldn't go in the grocery store. I had been through the pharmacies. I'd been to the doctors. I had the biopsies taken. I had all that done. And everything came back negative, and the itching and the torment continued, and there was little relief of any. And when somebody finally, a friend of mine, suggested there might be a dietary connection, I thought, you know, what the hell? I've tried everything else. I may as well go down another rabbit hole and see what comes, you know. And much to my surprise, it worked. And it has worked for hundreds, if not thousands, of people. And one of them was going to share her experience today. So we're going to jump right into the Q&A. So, Chris, do you have anybody who's left their 4 digits who would like to ask a question?
For my bowel movement, in the call today, you mentioned using a teaspoon of diatomaceous earth in a glass of water. You also mentioned collagen and baking soda. How many teaspoons per day can they be taken together?
Well, the diatomaceous earth, there is a blog post in there, and you start with 1 teaspoon between meals. I think 2 a day, I believe. I think you're more familiar with it, aren't you, Robin, than I am?
So you can take, the collagen is just an added benefit. I don't think it has anything to do with constipation, but it's wonderful for your skin and overall health, and you can add it to anything you're drinking. Okay? And Richard has some great collagen in the store as well that we know is good on the diet. But the baking soda and the diatomaceous earth, you start with like half a teaspoon of each one in 8 ounces. You could use water, or you could use lemon juice and water with a little stevia so it tastes good. And you do that twice a day on an empty stomach, and you slowly work up to a tablespoon of each. And when you reach a table, over 10 days, and when you reach a tablespoon, you stop. And you will have a kind of a cleanse, and then you give your body a rest, and then maybe in another week or 10 days you can do it again if you want to. But the baking soda you should do every day.
Right, continue that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. And yeah, the collagen is, you know, these organisms have destroyed your skin, layers and layers of skin, and the collagen is building back the skin from the inside out, which is important, if at all. And the interesting thing about collagen is that there are 5 types of collagen, so just don't go by any collagen. In fact, we have 2 sources where we could get collagen. One is from Claire Labs, which is a very a prestigious company that produces supplements mainly for the medical field, for the DOs that can actually prescribe supplements, and they only have 2 types of collagen. So I don't get our collagen from that. I get ours from Claire Labs. I'm sorry, I get ours from another source that has 5 organics. They have 5 different types of collagen in it.
Is flaxseed not approved? I looked through pages 119 to 121 of the 9th edition, and this was not specifically disapproved. And then she has another question.
Yes, flaxseed is not on the diet, and that is 2 editions ago. That book is about 3.5 or 4 years old, so I emailed her the newest edition and also put out an update shortly after that with a link for everybody else who's still on old editions to get the newer edition, because the newer editions have so much more information, far more effectively organized than the older editions as well. Okay, and what's the last part?
She says sesame, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds are disallowed. A friend of mine has good results.
Absolutely. In fact, anybody who is asking me a question like this, it's an indication to me they really have not read Chapter 4, perhaps more than to glance at it. And to be successful in this program, I don't mind getting those questions, but what you're saying to me is I really haven't read the book effectively, because the answers are there. Read Chapter 4. It tells you if you want to eat something and it is not on the to eat list and it is not on the do not eat list, I don't know. And it tells you how to test it, how I would have tested it back then when I was testing foods. So please read the book.
Anyway, I had a horrific week. What happened with me is that, as I had mentioned initially on the call here, I had scratched my cornea. and I didn't know that it was scratched. I went to a secular facility here and was given diagnosis of bacterial infection for my eye, and was given antibiotic and an eye drop, which was horrible for my crawling and biting. I mean, it's just unbelievable what I endured. And then I went to the major medical center here, and where they had the equipment to diagnose me correctly as scratched cornea, and they put an artificial lens in my eye, my right eye, because I have cataracts, that I had mentioned. Unfortunately, I didn't have the surgery years ago, which I should have, and they gave me another drop that I'm using every few hours here, antibiotic drop for my eye, and I have to go back again this week. The question I have, Richard, is it possible, because I have no clue how I scratch my cornea, could the mites have, entered my eye and affected that, and scratched my cornea?
Well, you can get damage from the organisms in your eye, whether or not they might scratch your cornea. Do you have any experience with that, Robin?
I do. I have had my eye scratched by mites, and it was incredibly painful.
Oh, it's horrible.
And it's happened a few times, actually. It's happened a few times.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I have like an ongoing eye antibiotic on call, and I use colloidal silver, and I use cold cloths on my eyes, and it takes a couple, and I rinse them continually. It takes 2 to 3 days to heal. But yeah, that happens. And
it happens. Yeah, it's scary.
It is scary, but just know that you're going to be fine. And
it hurts so bad, but my vertigo, and I've had nausea. Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the nausea and the vertigo is scary, and I'm thinking, could it, God forbid, it would be a tumor, or, can it exacerbate in that way?
Just, tell your mind to stop.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah, it's scary because I was, progressing, and now I'm back to stage 1, and they're biting me. The other thing I want to ask real quickly before I forget, if I could, I didn't have my front window open very much, and I need the air. Of course, it's so humid here in Georgia. Is it better to have the fresh air, even though the humidity may get worse? Or should I close my window more? What is your take on that?
I think it's important to have fresh air and to run dehumidifiers in your house, and
I need to get a dehumidifier
spray all around the house, because the problem isn't so much humidity, it's that you're gonna let organisms in if you haven't dealt with the environment around your house.
So in other words, the dehumidifier, thanks to Richard with the Eva dehumidifier, Eva Dry, we're going to get that, and so it's good to have a couple of them, I guess, because I have a very small space here anyway.
Yeah, dehumidifiers and air purifiers are really important.
Yeah, the air purifier doesn't do much. For me, I have them in here, but it doesn't seem. It helps.
Not by itself. They do. They pull springtails out of the air.
Oh, okay. We can talk about that. So, I appreciate that.
But dehumidifiers are really important, and I because I have like a 3-level home, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 5 dehumidifiers.
Wow.
Running,
okay. Well,
and my electric bill's crazy, but you gotta do it,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. But as far as sorry you've had to go through.
And the thing is that the eyes, like with me, as I dug into my environment, whenever I would hit someplace really infested, they'd go right for my eyes. And that hasn't happened in a while.
They go right for the eye.
They go right for the eyes. But as your environment gets better, you're going to be attacked less and less.
Yeah, I want to move from here so badly. It's just, but
I know, but you want to be in a good space and not bring a ton of them with you,
Yeah, so leaving my window open is wide. That's a good thing. And then getting the dehumidifiers. What about the vertigo and the nausea? Did that lessen too?
So vertigo can have lots of causes, and so can nausea, and it can be a calcium deficiency. It can be something else, and I would recommend talking to your doctor about it. But if it's, I know my mom had terrible vertigo, and I got her on this super calcium, and the vertigo went away within a week.
Yeah, I need to talk to you more about that again. You shared. I'm so grateful for.
But don't forget to do your environment outside the house if you're going to leave the window. Like last summer, I couldn't open my windows because my house would just get so infested. This summer, I treated early with 2 things around my house, and I can open all the windows now.
Yeah, see, I can't do that because it's an apartment community. It's a gated community here.
Well, you could do the windowsills.
The windowsills, I'll talk with you about that later. Yeah, to spray the windowsills. Yeah, and with what is it? With the Diatomaceous earth or
Garden Safe Fungicide 3.
Okay, well, I'll talk with you about that later. I don't.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming back.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for so much for everything.
Sure. Bye-bye. Who's next, Chris?
I was expecting for there to be a speaker, so I didn't really have anything like lined up. I guess I can just say is I'm trying to attack my environment. I spoke with Robin this week. She helped a lot with some good tips, and I am just trying to follow the tips and trudge through as much as I can. This is awful, but I have faith. So that's really all I have right now. I'm going to listen. Thank you.
Good to hear you.
Thanks, and keep coming back. Who's next?
I would like to ask you one thing about some treatment that Dorcas, my wife, has been offered, and I'd like to know what by our hospital, and I'd like to know what you think about this. She's been offered and is undergoing phototherapy. Now, what do you think of this as a way of coping with Morgellons?
What kind of therapy?
Phototherapy?
Phototherapy or light therapy.
Is it red light therapy?
Yes, red light
That's
therapy.
That's great. Red light therapy is wonderful. It helps your hair grow. It helps your skin, and it improves your immune system, but it's not going to do anything without the diet and the other protocols. It's just a tool in your toolbox.
Yeah. We are continuing with the diet, I can assure you. So it could well help because it helps with other things.
Yeah.
I love red light therapy.
Yeah, the only thing that I've stated again is that the itching is almost gone. It's just the crawling that is driving me crazy, but the itching is almost gone.
Well, the crawling has to do with it. I mean, make sure the diet is kicking in, and then there's the environment.
Yes.
We're waiting on that.
Working on the environment.
It takes a while. Even after the diet kicks in, it takes a few weeks for the crawling to completely subside.
Right.
Okay, right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard.
Okay.
Thank you, and Robin and Chris. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for your. Thank you. That's great.
Who's next?
A couple questions, but the first one, I was just wondering, I purchased those menthol crystals because I know I read on there about your jewelry to sanitize and clean, but I don't know how to use them in my pillow. Do I put them in
I would not use. The thing is that well, first of all, you want your pillow in a zippered vinyl pillow protector.
It is.
Okay, so you could put them in a little, those little bags they have at weddings, the little gift bags. You put the menthol crystals in those. Just make sure it's on the bottom of the pillow because they're sharp. Or you can use Nuvon strips on the bottom of the pillow. As long as it's in an airtight, zippered vinyl thing, it won't affect you because you don't want to breathe either of those things.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I could put them in the pillow itself, inside the casing. That way,
Well, you could try, but I mean, menthol. The other thing is that they melt when it gets hot, and they'll get stuck on things. So you want to keep them in a separate bag.
Okay.
I actually prefer for pillows and mattresses Nuvon strips because
okay.
they're
Can I get
flat.
those in the store?
Pardon? No, they're a solid pesticide, and you can get them at doyourownpestcontrol.com.
Oh, okay. And I did have one more. I noticed I use the debriding soap every day, okay? When I first started using it, I was getting a little bit of stuff coming out of my scalp, because that's the major problem. My scalp and my back and neck are the three areas. But the scalp, the crawling is terrible. It just will not, every hour on the hour, it's like clockwork. And I'm getting those hard black specks and these like flat black specks coming out of my scalp continuously. And it's like it builds up in there, and it's more crawling than it is itchy. My back and the neck is the itchiest part.
Here's what a lady wrote in. So we're going to discuss the scalp here.
It says, I mixed diatomaceous earth with water and regular coconut. My scalp was very clean. I applied the mixture on lesions, then the whole head. Slept with it, and it became like cement. Yesterday morning, I added olive oil, a very good leave-in conditioner, managed to loosen the hair, combed it for hours, adding shampoo, oil, conditioner, and then comb again. I let it dry for maybe 5 minutes. I put a bit of water to get rid of betadine.
Let me interrupt you for a minute. I don't want anybody taking notes on this. This is not what we want you to do. But this can what happen if you're not paying attention to our protocols. Our protocols are in the book, and our protocols are in the video. I have no idea where or how this woman came up with this protocol, but continue with her story.
Yeah.
And the blog has a protocol.
I put a bit of water to get rid of the betadine. It cleans hair very well, and they get stuck in it. To realize that my scalp is full of diatomaceous earth mixture. So I put regular coconut oil, aloe vera gel, your gel trying to soothe the extreme burning pain, and it didn't work. I went to bed at 2 a.m. I was up at 5. The burning never stopped. It felt like, and it still feels like, they were trying to come out to eat whatever I put in the hair, and they couldn't because of the cement scalp.
I'm sorry.
It still goes on. As she says, to my non-ending nightmare this morning, my head was still on fire. I added more olive oil, aloe vera gel, this very thick conditioner for itchy scalp, mixed everything together, let it soak in again, went back to bed at 11 a.m. I took a short hour nap, and my scalp is still on fire, and everything I put in it got very hard again. How the hell, I love this, how the hell am I going to get my scalp clean?
Maybe you should read the book.
It's very irritated. I can't use hot water. I mean, not too hot. I am so tired and, yes, depressed. I just want this miserable life to end. Nobody around to help me or talk to. Can't go anywhere unless I put a headband and a cap. I put olive oil and paper towel inside my hat. Horrible haircut. Car and house are disinfected almost every day. Bathroom 4 to 5 times a day. The last few weeks I've been dealing with at least 4 kinds of mites. Biting a little less today, but seen one coming out, flying out of my hair. It looked like an ant. I put sticky traps everywhere, sprayed DE mixed with ammonia. Your suggestion, it looks like it helps. Marie.
Well, this is an example of how we can take a problem and make it into a monster problem. As I mentioned before, none of this is in any of our protocols. I have no idea where this lady got this protocol that she put together and thought she was getting anywhere with it. So to do the scalp, first of all, we're dealing with organisms oftentimes that are in the scalp that are capable of migrating. So if you put something in your scalp they're not going to like, they're not going to stay there and just die. They're going to try to leave, and they're going to migrate down your face and your neck and into another part of your body and just take their misery to another camping ground on your body. So we recommend putting a moat around where you don't want them to go. You put a moat of beeswax or Vaseline so they're not going to go into your ears and they're not going to come down to your throat. So you limit where they can go. Then DE is great, but you don't use, we have several things in our store that we like. I mean, if you can figure out the ingredients on your own, but this lady didn't do a good job, all right? So we have Super MSM gel. The Super MSM gel already has diatomaceous earth in it. You shake it up, but it's not gonna dry like cement. Okay, it's not nearly that much in it. You don't need a lot of diatomaceous earth for it to do its job. You can put in a few drops of peppermint oil. You can put in some Nature's Gift skin cream or Claudia's lotion, Dream Cream. And you just stir it up in your hand, make a mixture, and then you massage it into your scalp. Massage it into your scalp, put a bathing cap on, and sleep in it overnight so that it keeps moist. And then clean your hair, shower, clean your hair in the morning, shampoo it out, brush it out, and comb it out. Use a knit comb if you need to, get all the stuff out, and then repeat that process. Again, having the moats so they're not going to migrate. And you do this like 4 times a day if necessary. Our first coach, Sandra, developed the protocol. She did it 6 times a day. And each time there was less and less debris. She took pictures, the amount of pictures after she combed her hair after each application before, after she showered or bathed her hair, shampooed her hair. So you do this, and maybe the 3rd day you'll be down to 3 or 4 times a day, and you're going to do that how long? Could be for weeks. But this is what's going to eventually get them out of your hair, out of the scalp. Now, additionally, since these organisms love to live also, I mean, they're in your pillows. So earlier, Robin talked about the vinyl zippered pillowcase, and you keep that disinfected, and you put the menthol crystals or Nuvon strips inside to make sure that anything inside there is going to be eliminated completely. And you also do your headrest in your automobile, your couch. If you have a recliner, you do the headrest area of the recliner as well. So anything to add to that, Robin? Did I get it all?
Yeah, you did, except I just want to say that Aquifer is a baby diaper lotion similar to what was the one you mentioned? It's just that it's got more healing properties than Vaseline, and it will calm the burning. It calms a lot of things. So
that's a good option for Vaseline and beeswax. What's it called? Aquifer?
Yeah, it comes in. It looks just like Vaseline, except it has healing stuff in it.
Right.
So, yeah. I was using that a lot in the recent.
We don't want anybody to have to go through the misery that poor lady went through with the cement.
Oh my gosh.
No, read the book. In fact, this protocol I just went through is in the book. Also, we have a blog. It's bestmorgellonscure.com, best, B-E-S-T, morgellonscure.com. In fact, I did an update on the scalp just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So the most relevant and recent information is right there in a blog post. And if you're familiar with the blog, you can search it. You can go back and search it. We have done, I don't know, I guess in 2 years that we've been doing these videos, we probably covered this topic in depth as we have today, probably a dozen or 2 dozen times already. So our techniques are published and published and published. Okay, who's next, Chris?
Anyway, I'm dealing with reinfestations every day at work. I'm in a newer area with carpeting, and they're multiplying there. And fortunately, I don't sit at my desk all day, and I can go all day and not feel a thing. But towards the end of the day, end of my day, I sit at my desk and do emails, and by the time and eat dinner, by the time I'm through and going home, I feel like I'm covered with mites, or just that little feeling that they're collecting on me. And then I bring them home.
All over your body? Is that all over your body, or typically around your ankles and lower legs and coming upwards?
I stay very well covered, but yeah, sometimes I feel on the ankles. I wear a mask at work, so it's on my face, hair a little bit. But I can wash and bathe and wash my clothes, and then I'm okay for another day.
Well, I'm trying when you're at work, I'm trying to get an idea where the source of the organisms are. Or is the source around the floor area, or is the source in the air?
Or the chair you're sitting in, or the desk.
I would say all the above, because I've been doing this for years, and I think moving from one area to another, and I reduced the amount of stuff that I have at my desk, but I think there may have been some things that I never really bagged and disinfected the way it should. In fact, it's in like a...
So can you bring like a spray bottle with clean 'em up signs, or even a spray that you make with Nature's Gift, and spray before you sit down, spray when you get up to take a break, spray when you come back, spray when you leave? Seriously, just,
I'm laughing because...
And it'll get better. It really will.
Well, I clean my area with ammonia when no one's there.
Well,
and,
ammonia, but the clean 'em up signs, ammonia can be offensive to a lot of people, and the clean 'em up signs is really effective, and it doesn't smell.
I do that too. I'll spray my floor and my chair with an enzyme cleaner and insecticide. It's another,
But
I haven't
I'm talking
used
like 6
Richard's
times a day.
Enzymes. But I use that before I sit down. Spray. I have Benefect. I bought a 5-gallon drum of that, hoping that would help, and I've been using that at home too. And also Metaclean. I do that every week or two when no one's around. And I think it also helps with the viruses that are going around. But
right. Well, I think with the COVID environment, you don't have to wait till no one's around. No one's going to think it's weird if you're disinfecting your space. But you know what? It's okay.
Well, you use
weird, that's for sure.
The fact that you have all these disinfectants, and have you stepped up the game to the electrostatic sprayer?
Yes, that's what I use with the Metaclean and also the Benefect. I use it.
Great.
I have
now the next
sprayer at work.
The next question: have you tried the herbal parasite stop formula?
Yes, I've only worked up to like 4 or 5 tablets a day because I only eat like twice a day. And I do remember reading that you should take it with food.
Right.
Is it okay if I take like 3 or 4 at a time, or is that with food? Or
4 a day might be fine. I have never gone past 4 a day because I only eat 2 meals a day.
Okay.
And they've helped tremendously.
I've been trying to avoid insecticides. All these years I always thought, it's bad to breed. So and it's probably in the book that your Syncocide instead of the I've got the fungicide 3 that I thought I should only use outside, but I haven't done that yet.
Well, no, the fungicide 3 is not for. You mean that is for outside.
Yeah, so
that's an organic pesticide that you can spray on food that you eat.
Oh, well, I don't.
It's for organic gardening, so I don't think it's that harmful.
so I could spray it around baseboards and things like that here, or my carpeting at work, around my desk. And
carpeting is a challenge. You know,
right?
Yeah. How good is that carpeting?
Carpeting's really hard.
Yeah, and I, when I first moved over to that area, I was the only one in this huge room, and it was great. I could spray whatever I wanted and not affect anybody. But I think I need to use an insecticide. I think I need to step up, and I can do it before I leave for home because I'm usually the last one there.
Yeah, I don't know if you can ever get a carpet clean.
No.
And I would try the clean 'em up zyme. That stuff is amazing. It really is.
I have been using another enzyme cleaner that's actually modified for killing mites and bed bugs. That's what they market it for.
Yeah, so, that clean 'em up zymes is better.
Okay.
I think.
I will try clean 'em up zyme.
I know what you're using. I mean, I've tried that, but I like the clean 'em up zymes best.
Okay. I will place another order with Chris. Thank you.
Two things. At your desk, you have a chair that rolls. Is it on a glass plate or plastic?
No, just on the carpet. You think I should use one of those carpet protectors?
Well,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. That will help.
Okay.
That will help a lot.
That's a barrier right where you are, and that's where you need it. You need that barrier.
Yeah.
Now,
I like that idea.
Also, would it be strange? I mean, because you're in a carpeted environment, you can't control the carpet. It's going to be there. Would it be weird for you to wear like riding boots in that environment?
I feel them like above my legs, so I don't think the boots are I can feel them like crawl through my socks, but up my legs, back and arms, hands, face. So I'm not crawling on the floor there. There's other buildings that I'm in that I do work where I do get down close to the floor, and I hardly ever notice them there. I think they just like multiplying on the carpeting since I sit at my desk too much.
So, well,
have you tried that, sir?
The job determine whether they're coming from the furniture. I mean, they can be on your tabletop. They can be underneath the table or underneath your desk where your legs go. They could be under the chair. They could be anywhere, or they can be in the atmosphere, in the air. So you're going to need to figure out where the source is.
Well, I feel it's me because I think I'm carrying them from one part of the building to the other. They're not completely eradicated here at home. I bring them here, and I've been fighting them here with every kind of spray I can without going to insecticide. So
yeah, but the other thing about spraying is you need to wipe down your space. You can't just spray it. You need to wipe down your desk, wipe down the computer, wipe down the keyboard.
Yeah, well, that's where I use the ammonia after every day.
I know, but spraying it isn't. You wipe it down like with a paper towel.
Yeah, I use ammonia after I eat at my desk. I wipe my desk down, underside of the desk with ammonia, keyboard, mouse with ammonia.
Okay, we don't have an exact answer here for you. It's important maybe for you to take notes, a journal, and there is a possibility of getting the parasite stop formula intake to a level where you will be less appealing to these organisms. I don't know what that is going to be for you, whether it's going to be 4 caps a day or 6 caps a day. And then once you get to that point, you can start backing off to more like 1 or 2 caps a day. So you have a job. You have to figure out what's going to work. Okay?
Get something to put under the chair, like those big plastic things.
Good.
And
got it.
And get some clean 'em up signs and spray frequently during the day, not just when no one's there.
Okay, yeah, I do that. I sneak the spray when people aren't listening. But you don't. Well, how are you doing with your carpet, your rug at home? I know you're using insecticides and having Terminix in like every 10 days to spray your house.
No, I don't have. I don't have any exterminators that will come. I'm doing it myself. And my rug, well, I wouldn't walk barefoot on it, but I think it's much better. I think I'm going to be able to salvage it and keep it, but it's a rug. It's not a carpet. It's not as thick. And I steam clean it every 2 weeks, and I spray it daily, and I vacuum it daily, and with a vacuum that doesn't have a bagless vacuum that I can disinfect. You know, so it's a lot of work trying to salvage this rug, but I love the rug.
The problem with carpet, you have the carpet, it has a nap where all the fibers are attached, and then underneath it there's a foam padding. So, and that's where you really can't control what's down there. I don't even think the electrostatic sprayer is going to get it.
Right, and I have a pad under my rug, but I can lift the rug up and spray the pad and, you know, the whole thing. But
you're not using it was like insecticide.
No, I am. I'm doing that every 10 days. That's why things are getting better in my house. But I have very resistant mites and 3 kinds of mites and springtails, and every 10 days I spray everything with pesticide. I wear a mask and goggles and gloves and cover my head, and then I flea bomb the whole house, and then I ozone for 2 hours. And it's taken 3 months, and it's turned a corner. I just cleaned the whole house today and did not get reinfested, which was a big deal because I used to clean the house, and then it would take me a week to recover. From getting reinfested from cleaning. Yeah, but that didn't happen. I cleaned the whole house today, just before the call, and I'm fine. Things are much better. I'm not done yet, but that's what it took the first time when I got clear, and that's what it's taking this time. So, you know, it just depends. Not everyone has had to do what I've had to do.
I do find that cleaning my floor at least once a week with the regular hardwood floor cleaner does help a lot in vacuuming as much as possible. Thanks for your help, and I'll let you go handle more people. Thanks.
Okay. All right, who's next, Chris?
Richard, what stage will I be able to have sex again?
Oh.
It's been years. It's been years due to Morgellons. And then it says, no matter what stage, as long as I'm not feeling biting or itching, I should be fine?
Yeah, that's a 2-part question. When can you be intimate? It's when you get to a point where you feel relatively, maybe only some crawling, but no itching and no biting. When those symptoms are gone, you can probably have normal intercourse. Obviously, you want to plan, and before you have your date or your experience, bathe and at least 45 minutes and with a nature's gift and disinfectant to destroy them in the bathtub, and then shower off and be pristine in that sense. Now, then, assuming you haven't made a mistake with the diet, or assuming that you haven't somehow gotten massively reinfected, then normal relations are fine. But sometimes you could be feeling fine, but have made a mistake with the diet a couple days ago and not have reacted yet, and may not have actually reacted until maybe after you have intercourse, and then it's too late. It can be contagious by then. Or you could be taking a shower, and the organisms could be in the drain pipe, and you haven't been disinfecting the drain pipe, and they build up, and when you think you're clean, but you're not, and go on a date, that could be a problem too. So everything needs to be in order, with no mistakes with the diet, no mistakes with disinfecting, no mistakes with bathing.
Hi, Richard. I'd like to share my experience with lint as per last Sunday's program. For me, pieces are invariably filled with Morgellons and roundworms. When damp and placed on rounded, transparent aquarium marble, both are absorbed into the marble and can be seen with clarity. Morgellons glows brightly, and both become more active when the glass marble is held up to the light.
You see, what she said was important for me. That's her experience. And everybody's experience is pretty much different. So your experience may not be like hers, probably unlikely like hers, but you'll have your own experience with a lint. And it can be reinfectious, as many people have reported. Okay, next comment or question.
Yep, this is two parts, and actually you answered the first part already, but it says, are chia seeds disapproved?
Okay, we answered that one, yes. Read chapter 4, and they're not on the diet.
The second part says, Perrier water and carbonated water, are they okay?
Absolutely, they are okay, and I believe they're listed in the diet as being okay as well.
Richard, I come from a holistically minded family all my life. I am truly grateful for you and your store, and have been purchasing so many of the disinfectants and NG products lately. I also have the Parasite Stop and Pack of Life products as well. I desperately need guidance, a coach, Richard. I was bit by a tick 8 weeks ago. Seems it must have vectored into Calembula inside me. My primary doctor has prescribed me Doxycline for 21 days and a tube of permethrin cream. Pharmaceutical products go against all my knowledge and heart, and I never use antibiotics. My doctor's plan is to see how the Doxycline works for me first. I have been reading your blog, 3 parts on antibiotics, horrible for ourselves, mitochondria, delicate gut flora, etc. And I know it is all true information. I wish I could take the Max 1 and other supplements, but it was advised to lay off natural supplements while I'm on the antibiotics and wait until it is finished. I am torn inside my heart, Richard. I may have to pursue Dr. Savely you wrote about in your book that I am reading. I beg you for some brief advice, sir. May I call you briefly this evening? If yes, please give me a time that is convenient for you, and I will call then. Thank you, Bill.
Well, his doctor's right on in terms of doxycycline. I think that's a recognized valuable treatment that's been used for as long as I know about Lyme disease, and for the 21 days. And he should be pretty well over the Lyme disease. The disturbing part is that, well, I guess the doctor is a purist, and he only doesn't, it's like, I'm kind of a purist. Don't mix my protocol with somebody else's protocol, and the doctor may be of that same frame of mind. Don't mix my doxycycline with some supplement that is going to cause a problem. And I agree with that. Don't mix the doxycycline with a supplement that's going to cause some kind of problem. Of course, his physician does not know what our supplements are and what, in fact, our multiple vitamin was designed by a doctor for the treatment of Lyme disease. So obviously his doctor doesn't know that. He doesn't even know that. So, and the point is, what I did is I sent him our book. It's called Lyme Disease Doesn't Have to Own You Anymore. But I'm not going to give any advice to somebody that goes against his doctor's advice. So my advice is seek a second opinion. Go to another doctor and see if supplements are a big problem with doxycycline. The point that I make, and the point in my own life, having been dramatically, almost destroyed by Lyme disease, to the point I was in 24/7 pain, could not write my name with the motor skill. You know, I just couldn't write my name. Not that I had good handwriting in the first place, but I couldn't write anything. And I had inflammation in the joints. And the first thing I learned of by accident was by boosting glutathione. And that helped diminish the Lyme symptoms. And then I learned that when you're dealing with Lyme disease, the spirochete likes toxicity. All right? So glutathione is the body's major detoxifier, gets the toxicity out of there. And much to my surprise, many of my symptoms had greatly diminished within 6 weeks. And then I learned of allicin. It's a natural antibiotic. And I took 1 capsule just because I don't want anything in the store that I don't personally use or have used. I want to know how everything in the store works. I want my own personal experience. And 1 capsule and my knee just about exploded in terms of inflammation. But that was a detox reaction. So when you put the Max 1 with the Garcillin and the multiple vitamins and use minerals, I mean, I can't imagine any doctor saying you shouldn't take any minerals, especially bioavailable minerals that are not any chemical compound. It's not like you're taking even calcium carbonate or anything like that. You're taking calcium and magnesium and 73 other important trace minerals. So my advice is seek the advice of another doctor, but my basic approach is build your health and immune supplement, your immune functioning through these supplements, and you might not need treatment. But I would never, ever suggest not taking doxycycline from a Lyme tick bite where you have the bullseye rash in the beginning, because you can wipe it out in 21 days. It's been done time and time again. It's a medical proven fact. But when most of us are not dealing with that, we're dealing with chronic Lyme. We weren't even bitten by a tick. Most of us got it from mites or Columbella. Morgellons is the other vectors that brought it into our bodies, and we never had the opportunity to even see the bullseye rash and deal with it early. Yeah, he wrote back, I will seek out a second opinion with another doctor that is more familiar with beneficial natural supplements that work in harmony with our body and physiology. So he's taking my advice, which is I'm happy. I do not want to go against any doctors because I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to treat, cure, or mitigate any disease. But I can tell you when I suggest you might get a second opinion. I am at the point where I am trying to nip this in the bud early, but in a smart way, and I think he's doing it.
I have this herbal natural product, SAM-E, that works wonders on it. Is it okay to take on stage 1? SAM-E says it's for joint health, brain metabolism, and mood and liver function. It contains S-adenosylmethionine, 200 milligrams, from 400 SAM-E tosylate disulfate. Also contains cellulose, mannitol, glycerol, dihenate, magnesium stearate, vegetable source, cellulose, magnesium stearate, vegetable source, silicon dioxide, sodium starch glycolate, enteric coating, modified cellulose, magnesium silicate, triethyl citrate, and riboflavin. No wheat, no gluten, no soybeans, no dairy, no egg, no fish, shellfish, no peanuts, tree nuts, suitable for vegetarians and vegans.
Hey, it sounds perfect, doesn't it? But
except for the sugar.
What's highlighted there in red?
Anything that ends in OL is a sugar, basically.
Mannitol.
Right.
Right. Mannitol and glycerol.
Right.
Glycerol benamate. Who knows what that is, but it's a glycerol thing. So those are the two things that knock it right out. And when I read this and confusion and depression, I'm thinking, okay, there's a free YouTube video that has been up for over a year, and there's only like 114 views, and everybody has depression. Why are not more people taking advantage of this YouTube video that I have up for over a year? I don't know. So doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, this may help with the depression, but it's not going to help with the organisms. They're going to love it. The next one.
Okay. This is the last one for this section. Hello, by chance has there been an audiobook created yet? My mama dislikes reading but will listen to anything. She listened to all the YouTube videos. She's in need of an audiobook. I've downloaded the book and will read it to her, but it doesn't stick. Audio is what helps her. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that we have these YouTube videos that have the audio component, and we do cover a lot of stuff that is in the book. We talked about having somebody read it, but this is like the 11th revision, so that's a lot of work changing. It's not like one book and it's done. But I might suggest or ask her if there are any volunteers who would like to read just one chapter and record just one chapter. We could put it together and help people like this as well, because I agree, it helps to have more than just the visual print. It helps to have the audio as well. So if there's anybody who would like to volunteer, as long as the diction is good, the voice is good, that's what's important. Okay. So any volunteers, you can email me and we can start it. Another option is maybe we could do parts of chapters on some of these Sunday calls as well. I was thinking of doing that, but I don't know if that's going to be practical. What do you think?
Might work. I like that idea.
Yeah,
I do too.
Okay.
Been listening. I needed a refresher, and I heard the question about the audiobook, and I had talked to someone rather recently about that and explained to get an audiobook done can be kind of pricey for the production and also pricey for the consumer. But there are some apps that you can download that will read the text. And so I kind of did some troubleshooting on that yesterday. I downloaded your book electronically, and then I found an app that's called T2S, and it will read the book to you. And it's the sound is natural. So that's one thing that could be done, something as simple as, just downloading your book and then getting the app, and then it will read it to the person. But I like the idea about doing it, maybe you guys just kind of reading a chapter each week. But for those of you who want something else, that's an option.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ethel. That's wonderful. If you don't mind, send me the information you have, and we'll look into that. That's great.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Richard.
I just wanted to ask you a question about the ozone treatment. I'm actually thinking about purchasing a few of them because I've moved from my home quite a few times and thrown everything away, and I do seem to kind of get reinfested every 6 months or so. So I kind of think it might have something to do with my vehicle. And I know that you said that we can put the ozone into the truck or into whatever car that you have, and you could treat it that way.
Okay. So are you on the diet?
I've been on the diet, and it has helped me tremendously. And in fact, I didn't actually get reinfected until I went in my truck for a long drive. I was in it for a couple of hours, and I got out of it. So, yeah, I got out of it, and I was in there with my sister, who's been around me a lot. And is it possible for someone to be infested or infected with this and not know it and then pass it back to me?
They're called carriers.
Yes.
Yes, yes. The answer is yes. That's all totally possible.
Okay.
and
she was with me. Yeah, she was with me for the ride. We had gone a couple hours and then a couple hours back, and my best friend also has it, and she told me that her doctor said that there's another lady that has it, that she goes to her doctor, and he asked her about how she got rid of it. She hasn't had any symptoms in a long time, but I think they've been living in our feet. I mean, that's just speculation, but I mean, the feet are something that is so, the skin is so tough down there that you might not even know you have it. Is that possible?
Oh, well, there are people that, we have many couples, husbands and wives or same gender, and one person is dramatically affected by it, and the other person is minimally affected by it. But that other person is a carrier. And even if you were to get rid of it, if that other person doesn't have their clothing disinfected and their body cleansed, they're going to pass it back to you.
Okay, I understand.
And the other thing about disinfecting a car or a truck, ozone alone won't do it. First of all, you want to be really careful because if it's too close to the dash, you can damage the electronics.
Yeah, that was in Richard's book. I read that. I just am trying to figure out a way to move, and I don't want to carry anything from my place to a new place.
It takes a long time. My car was really bad, and it took 3 months, and I was spraying and flea bombing, and the thing that helped the most was washing the rugs in the car with a combination of bleach and dish soap, and washing them every week, and then ozoning, and then spraying daily with either the enzyme cleaner or disinfectant, and wiping everything down. You
I put in the Diatomaceous earth. Did that help a little bit? And it seemed to, it seemed to help so much. But I don't know. I'm not really certain why they seem to act up more in the summertime. For me, it seems like in the heat. They seem to just actually be more aggressive.
Right.
And the menthol crystals help as well. And I've also had, some luck using the menthol on my skin too.
Right, but menthol crystals are toxic. You don't want to.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it's that in that way. A product with menthol in it.
Oh yeah, that's great. And you can also get like a wax burner that has an electric light bulb, and you can get an extension cord and burn menthol crystals in your car.
That sounds neat. Okay, I'll try that.
That could help a lot. I think that would be more effective than ozone, actually, in a car or truck.
That would be good. I know it's so hard for people to get new vehicles in this pandemic and with the supply chain, that vehicles aren't, available, and they're so expensive, or I would have already bought another car or truck or something.
I know, I couldn't. But you can get rid of them. My car was so bad, and it's like 90% clear now.
Well, congratulations. I'm going to keep trying.
Yeah.
I keep trying everything. I park it in the sun when it's 112 outside, so it's like 120 in the truck. It still doesn't help.
Right. Well,
these things can live through everything.
To do everything daily, to have a schedule of daily stuff you're going to do to disinfect.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. I know that I'm trying to move to a different place, and I wanted to know what should I do so I don't take it to my new home. Yeah. So that was actually very successful for a long time, and I know you guys have a lot to do, so thank you for answering our questions, and I really appreciate it.
Sure, keep coming back, and it's always going to be a challenge to move to a new place and not take it with you. Obviously, the first place is you want to get it out of the car because that's what you're going to be using in the new place. And then
Have you ever figured out how long these things live if they're not bothered by anything, like if they're left alone?
Years.
Oh, they have food supplies. They have food supplies other than humans.
It's amazing how long they can live without any form of sustenance.
Well, I had stuff in bags for 3 years that I opened and got infected.
I believe you. I honestly do, because I've done the same thing, and that's how I get reinfested every time. So I totally agree.
I don't know if they ever die. They go into
And
like
cotton is one of the worst things. Cotton for me, I cannot wear cotton at all. It just makes everything worse. So I agree with that too.
Have you tried the Parasite Stop formula?
I have not.
That's something you may want to try.
So I have a question. My mom and I are sitting here. This randomly started for us. We're still trying to figure out exactly what might or what could be causing all of this. Started 3 weeks ago. So we are lucky to have come across, all this content of yours early, and, not let this fester and go on. But the problem is that we're experiencing is not just, we ordered all your products, they're coming. However, we're just figuring, and we're on your diet. We just started it about 4 days ago. We're just trying to figure out, we live in like an 8,000 square foot house. And and I also had to leave my apartment behind, which is where we think might have started it. And unfortunately, that was brought here. So we are, obviously trying our best, but we don't even really know where to start. Besides the diet and everything. So, I just kind of wanted to see if there was any advice there, just with the size, because we can't just get rid of, everything in our house. We can't do that, obviously. And we got rid of any carpets that are, or not carpet, rugs that are in the main areas. But so we can't get rid of, most things.
Robin, you live in a big house. What would you do? Section it off? Go by section, pick about 4 or 5 rooms?
I would hire an exterminator to heat treat the house.
Heat treat?
And just, I think, that's what I would do. I mean, you could do sections, but I think anything that kills bed bugs will kill mites and springtails, and high heat kills Morgellons. I mean, if you can get an exterminator to work with you and heat treat the house, you can knock it out.
The problem we're experiencing is, they won't heat treat, because we've thought about that. They won't heat treat without a proper identification of what's going on. And unfortunately, we had like a
you got to carry some bugs in. Okay, that's weird.
Well, if you have, have you been able to get samples of anything besides little hairs?
So on me personally, and on my mom, more so on me, I've been having like black kind of fuzzy things come off of me.
No, that's Morgellons.
When things like when I come off. So am I able to get rid of that quickly because I caught it so early, or?
Well, are you and your mom on the diet?
Yes, we just started it 4 days ago.
When did you start it?
4 days ago.
4 days.
Oh, okay. So has it kicked in for you yet? Have you made it kick in? Have you made it work?
So I feel a little bit less crawling sensation. That's been my main symptom, not so much itching. My mom, it's been like kind of pinprick feelings that we get. So it's been a little by little better, but not enough to knock anything out yet. I'm still waiting. I'm going to definitely order the Parastop formula.
I would get the electrostatic sprayer and like Richard said, do sections. I mean, ideally 8,000 feet. I can't, how many stories?
3.
So you could do one story at a time, one level at a time.
And
but you're going to push them to the other level. I mean, ideally, maybe you could hire a local exterminator to help you, and or even just a cleaning person who would do the spraying every day. Because you need to do it.
What recommend as a universal cleaner for around the house? Because we have ammonia, but we can't put that everywhere,
Well, for inside the house, you could use the clean 'em up Zymes in the electrostatic sprayer everywhere.
Right.
You could use also the Benefect disinfectant, which is thyme organic, or you could use the Mentol outside.
How do you say that? Is it Benefect?
Benefect, Benefect. Outside the house, you could use Robin's favorite, which is
Fungicide 3.
Garden Safe Fungicide 3. You attach it to a hose. It's a bottle you attach to the hose, and as the hose sprays through the bottle, it distributes. So you could cover a lot of space with one bottle outside, and that should take care of inside and outside.
You have to do it every couple of weeks in the summer. Outside.
Yeah, or even start once a week and then go to every 2 weeks.
And one more question, if you mind. We think this might have all started with like a parasitic infection with me. I actually had something that was basically parasitic. I don't know what it was. There's a little round blob that was gray that came out of my armpits with a rash on both sides. We thought initially I might have had scabies. Not really sure at this point. So that's kind of where this all began.
That's not uncommon. There are many vectors and there are many cofactors that bring these organisms in. We did a YouTube video about maybe a month ago called Undressing Morgellons. It was on Mother's Day. So you could always go back and look at that. You can get the whole scope of all the different types of cofactors that we presently know of. And there are even more that we don't know of that can bring the organisms into your life and create the perfect storm of parasites.
I'm going to go ahead and watch that video. I appreciate it. And then my mom wanted me to ask about vet DNA.
Well, vet DNA is where you would send a sample if you want to get an identification of a particular mite. So you would...
Or an exterminator.
You would contact them. They would give you instructions on how to submit the sample. You would get the identification. Then if you want to, you could go to the exterminator with that and say, okay, this is what we got. Do the heat treatment for 21 days, or, for 1 day. Do the heat treatment.
Right.
So you have different options.
I really appreciate that. We were kind of at a loss with, how to handle all of this in our house. So
it's overwhelming.
Really appreciate.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how we came across it so early on, but it's been super helpful.
So chapter 3 is important to read over because there's something there that you probably missed. Basically everything we've talked about here is there, but it's easy to miss. So, and the second time you read it, you'll pick up more information from it, and keep coming back and asking questions here.
Well, I ordered that Lufenuron because I read that
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Lufenuron, yes. And I ordered that because I read, if something came out of your skin, that's important, So I'm going to try that as well alongside, because I was on ivermectin because they thought it was scabies, but I don't believe it's scabies.
Well, Lufenuron inhibits the production of chitin, which are fungal organisms. It also inhibits the maturation of mites, eggs laid by mites. The Lufenuron does not kill anything. It inhibits further production of the organisms. Now, if we're dealing with mites, then you might want to look into the other medication there, nitinpyram. Nitinpyram. That is for dealing with mites that may be living in your skin. And for intestinal organisms or organisms of a nematode, worm-like nature, we would be looking at fenbenzidol, which is, in my opinion, more effective at dealing with nematodes than ivermectin is, unless you're dealing with strongyloides, and that's pretty rare that they're around. I guess that concludes this segment.